On behalf of the Karnataka India section of the International Commission of Jurists, today's program is a very topical lecture on artificial intelligence and its impact on right to privacy. To begin today's proceedings, may I request our President, Shri R.V.S. Nayak, to please welcome.
Thank you, Purnima. On behalf of the Commission of Jurists and the Karnataka Jurist Trust, and on my own behalf, a warm welcome to our speaker of the evening, Justice S.R. Bannurmath. And I also welcome Mr. B.V. Acharya, who is our immediate past president and also the chairman of the Karnataka Jurist Trust, and a great inspiration to all of us. And I don't want to mention any names. A warm welcome to all of you, all the advocates and senior advocates and the students especially. They have taken the use of this opportunity to come here and listen to our speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Vikram to kindly introduce our speaker for the evening.
Good evening, everyone. I have the privilege of introducing a very distinguished guest, Justice S.R. Bannurmath. He was born on 23rd January 1948. He enrolled as an advocate on 28th July 1973 and started his practice at Belagavi. In 1974, he shifted his practice to the High Court of Karnataka at Bangalore by joining the office of Justice K.S.I.C.J. In 1979, he started independent practice, dealing in all branches of law and specializing in criminal and constitutional cases. In 1990, the government of Karnataka appointed him as additional state public prosecutor. He was appointed as state public prosecutor from 1994 till 1997. He was elevated as judge of the High Court of Karnataka on 11th June 1997. Between 1997 and 2009, he rendered thousands of judgments in all branches of law. Even on the administrative side, Justice Bannurmath has made several important contributions. He was the chairman of the Court Computerization Committee of our High Court. The Karnataka High Court was the first High Court in India to develop its own operating system to manage entire court proceedings such as filing, scrutiny, certified copies. He was also the founder of the Bangalore Mediation Center, whom all of us regularly attend. Justice Bannurmath was elevated as Chief Justice of Kerala in 2009 and retired on 22nd January 2010. Between 2013 and 2018, he was the chairperson of Maharashtra State Human Rights Commission. He has also served as the chairman of the Law Commission of Karnataka. I conclude by quoting what Justice V.R. Krishnaiyer wrote about Justice Bannurmath on the date of his retirement as Chief Justice of the Kerala High Court. To honor the great Chief Justice Bannurmath, the Chief Justice of Kerala, I join you to pay homage to that high noble functionary. He was a great judge, and the qualities of a good justice, in the words of Socrates, run thus: to hear courteously, to answer wisely, to consider soberly, and to decide impartially. His departure leaves a void in the judiciary of Kerala because it is difficult to find a man of his humility, erudition, compassion, and gentlemanliness. He is too young to retire, as his rich services are needed for the country at a time when judiciary is normally losing its sublime stature. Our nation is glorious because there are some good Bannurmaths. It is truly an honor to have you amongst us today, sir. I invite you to address the gathering on an important topic which has significant ramifications in the digital era: artificial intelligence and its impact on right to privacy. Thank you.
President of the today's function, Shri R.V.S. Nayak, Senior Advocate, Chief Guest, and who was also incidentally my senior, Justice Shri B.V. Acharya. When he was Advocate General, I was the State Public Prosecutor. Mr. Disa, my good old friend, Prasad, Radha, Purnima, and all youngsters. Good evening. It is my privilege to address you today on a very vital present and futuristic burning issue of privacy rights, especially in the present era of artificial intelligence. Now, the development of technology and science have dramatically changed our lives. One such development is the information technology and cyber technology. These two technologies have become part and parcel of our life. Today, it is not possible for us to stay away from this technology or use of this technology. Now, any activity, be it communication, commerce, industry, banking, defense, medicine, education, entertainment, sports, and many more day-to-day activities are not possible without the use of this information technology. Today it is become so unavoidable in every person's life, be it literate or illiterate even, that if we stop using this technology, like your computers or smartphones or phones, various apps, WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, or the day-to-day search engines, Google, then Yahoo, Microsoft, Bing, etc., or regular even your banking system and online marketplaces like Amazon, Flipkart, and utility services like your Swiggy, Zomato, or Uber. It will not be possible to carry out our day-to-day life now. Today we have become so much dependent on this technology that if for a day all these technologies stopped working, we will literally go mad. You will not find how to spend your time, what to do, how to go anywhere else also. So this has become so integral that you can't avoid it. Now, in this growth of technology, there is a new, more emerging technology that needs our immediate attention, that is information technology, or as you know it, is AI. Now, before going to the legal aspect today's subject, brief history about AI. You will be surprised to note that the general or basic idea of artificial intelligence has started decades back. It was only in stories or novels, and first of this kind was by science fiction writers. The first one was Frankenstein. Some of you youngsters might have seen that movie also, and even our area we have seen that black and white movie. There it was, the idea of artificial intelligence started, and this was 1818. Thereafter, Sam Butler, 1872, wrote a novel called as Iruhon, and theme is again based on artificial intelligence. But one of the best example I can give you, and I came across, was a novel by a famous science fiction writer, Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote the novel by the name 2001 Space Odyssey. This was written in 1962. There the theme was that some space people are traveling from Earth to Saturn. So it was a huge journey of number of thousands of years. So what the arrangement was made in the spacecraft was 3 space astronauts will be in the hibernation sleeping condition, 3 will be awake, half a journey, and thereafter another half journey, these people will go to sleep and others will wake up and complete the mission given to them. But whole thing was controlled by a computer in this spacecraft. Its name was HAL 9000. Now these astronauts, 3 astronauts who were traveling first, knew about half a way what is to be done. The other half would be known by the other 3 one. But this computer knew everything. Right from start to end journey it knew. So halfway it started thinking by itself that these people know only half. I am the boss. I know everything. So it starts manipulating with the astronauts and says, look here, we will carry on this journey. Others are useless people. Earth is useless. Earth station is long after gone now. We will continue this journey. And it starts manipulating so much. When the captain avoids this, it starts killing the astronauts one by one by giving misinformation that something is gone wrong with the Earth connection, etc. And ultimately, the captain knows it and then he removes its memory. In those days, big memory cards were there. He starts removing them and ends the journey by himself. Now, this story raised a lot of questions about possible evil of this artificial intelligence, especially its attempt to think by itself independently and attempt to take control of human activities. Similarly, there are many more novels are there, movies are there, and like Star Trek, you must have seen Matrix, Terminator, etc. Now, even in Indian movies now they have started. Rajnikant's movie, if you remember, Ethiran or Robo, was based on artificial intelligence. Shah Rukh Khan's movie, One Raw, or that Ravan, idea was artificial intelligence, and it was shown how this artificially intelligent created robo can destroy your life also. So, but in the real world, now we forget about movies, real world, actual movement in the artificial intelligence started in 1950. It was one Alan Turing of United Kingdom, who was supposed to be the father of modern computerization. He started experimenting and called it as a Turing test, which is to measure theoretically the computer's intelligence and make it grow more. However, in 1955, John McCarthy, an American computer science and cognitive scientist, he coined this word artificial intelligence for the first time in a workshop and developed a programming language called as list processing or Lisp. This marked the official entry of artificial intelligence in our life. Now it is worthwhile to note that from the time between the phrase and a definite theory of artificial intelligence emerged in 1956 till now, there has been unbelievable rapid growth in artificial intelligence. Few examples of this are, in 1980, AI system came to be commercially marketed, known as XCon or Expert Configure, which designed to assist the ordering of computer systems by automatically ordering, picking components, etc. In 1981, even the Japanese government invested nearly $850 million to develop new computer system, and the aim was the computer intelligence which could create, translate, converse in human language and express reasoning on the human level. Now, in 1986, Ernst Beckman and his team created the first driverless car which could move by itself. Just you have to sit and give the command and it will go by itself. Old people will be knowing, in 1997, IBM developed one artificial intelligence called as Deep Blue. This was a chess intelligence software, and it was so advanced that it defeated the then world chess champion Garry Kasparov. Unruling champion he was, but first time he was defeated by an artificial intelligently created computer. In 2000, Professor Cynthia developed first robot that could stimulate human emotions with having a face, ears, eyes, etc., and it was called as Kismat. Now in 2006, of course, Google, Twitter, Facebook, Netflix all started utilizing this artificial intelligence as a part of their artificial advertisement and commercial experimentation. Now 2015, of course, first time Google started the driverless car on the road, and now latest is Gemini, AI-based computer assistance. Interestingly, 2016, Hanson Robot created a humanoid. It was now named as Sophia, who became the world's first robo-citizen recognized by a country. And it was so beautiful, looked like a beautiful girl, and you talk with her, you can interact with her, she would show except her emotions on the face because it was artificially done. Everything could be answered by this Sophia. So today we have OpenGPAT, OpenAI, ChatGPAT, most of you use. Then new apps like Gemini and Claude has started in the market. Now the field of AI is so much advancing, so fast and so quickly that many experts are hesitant even to speculate what will be tomorrow's artificial intelligence technique. Now what is the artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is nothing but a set of technologies and calculations which are called as in the computer language algorithms that enable the computer to perform variety of advanced functions including ability to see, hear, understand, translate, speak, write, analyze data and make recommendations and many more. Now this field is required to be consisting of many disciplines like machine learning, computer science, data analytics, statistics, hardware and software, etc. Now while the specifics vary depending upon the developer, the core principle revolves around collection of data. Now there are several types of data. One is personal data. This includes information that directly identifies an individual such as name, address, telephone number, email ID and photograph. This type of data is crucial for services and transactions but require robust protection. Now second type of data which is called as metadata. This refers to such a timestamp, geolocation where you are or device information. Although not personally identifiable on its own, metadata can reveal significant pattern about an individual's behavior and preferences. Now third most important is financial data. This encompasses information relating to your banking, credit and debit cards, financial transactions and investment details. This data is, of course, highly sensitive and critical for preventing frauds. And lastly, health data. This includes personal medical records like prescription details, biometric information, and health monitoring also. Now, pausing for a moment again, how this artificial intelligence can create havoc so far as health data is concerned. A small example which happened in United States. There were two rival businessmen who wanted to destroy another one. So one company engaged a computer engineer. It hacked the computer of the rival and found out that on a particular day he was going to be hospitalized. So it hacked the hospital records through artificial intelligence and saw that what are the medicines given to that person. And it introduced a medicine to which this person was allergic. Of course, the nurse did not know it, gave that injection, and that person died. This is how the health data can be approached and misused by the artificial intelligence. So, protecting these data is essential to maintain confidentiality and prevent discrimination based on medical history. Now, who are the key players in keeping this or managing the data? One is government and its agencies. All you know, the Aadhaar card, started by Unique Identification Authority of India. This is a prime example of managing your program, Aadhaar program, which collects and stores all your data, including biometric and demographic data of every Indian citizens. Now, other government authorities like Passport Authority also collects the data for the purpose of national security, of course, and law enforcement and public services. Now, third is the tech companies, big tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Payphone, Reliance collect vast amount of data to provide telecom services, digital payments, and other online facilities. Now, this company leverages data collection used to improve. The main object is to improve services and enhance the user experience and drive their business forward. The last one, which you are familiar with, is the social media platforms. They are the most used. Global platforms such as Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, etc., Instagram, all have massive users based on all the world, throughout the world, and they collect your personal data, user pattern, and interactions which are used for targeting, advertisement, and other business purposes. Now, how this data is collected? One is biometric data collection. The Aadhaar program is as I said, is the prominent example which collects your fingerprints, your scan, your facial photographs, your all other particulars required for the purpose of identifying who is using this. Now, second is mobile tracking. Telecom providers and app developers use this mobile tracking to gather data or use location call logs and app usage patterns. This collected data for them will be helpful in using the delivery location based on services, improving network performance and personalized users experience. Thirdly, internet services. The government agencies and internet service providers, ISP, monitor online activities for security and regulatory purposes also. Now, this internet surveillance involves tracking, browsing history, email communication, social media interaction and other online behaviors to detect actually and prevent cyber threats and unlawful activities. Now, I am going to address on advantages and disadvantages of this AI and then come back to our main topic. Now, with the arrival of this artificial intelligence, data collection has become easier and very fast. The use of artificial intelligence is practically unlimited. This intelligence is being used in all walks of life, be it individual requirement or by the government or business world. The artificial intelligence can automate workflows very easily and processes or works autonomously, and it doesn't require any time lag or any server. 24/7 this is available to you. So the advantage is it eliminates as far as possible 99% manual errors in data processing, analytics, assembling, manufacturing and other tasks through this automation and the algorithm based, which is that following the same process every single time. Now if you want to read or write, repetitive process will be there. Drafting, for example, you have to draft, redraft, draft, redraft. But now this is not necessary. You give artificial intelligence any subject, within no time, it can create. And advantage is this can process large amount of information very quickly, more than what a human being can do. Further, this AI is not limited by the time, day or night. It works 24/7. Friends, as this technology continues to advance at an unprecedented pace, the use of AI has become increasingly prevalent in many areas of our life. Of course, there are different types of artificial intelligence like generative intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and now the world is going towards super intelligence. Now, as I said, AI can create any content such as text, image, music and software code. It can generate text like stories, poems, letters, reports, speeches, even scripts also. Now AI can create unique artwork, realistic image from mere description and video clips for marketing or entertainment, product design. Then in reality, actually, the sky is the limit for this use of artificial intelligence. This is a very, very revolutionary advancement in our lifetime, which will be useful for our healthcare, education, business and government. Now let us look into the other side of the coin. We all know India is witnessing a digital explosion with more than 800 million internet users in India, the highest per capita data consumption in the world, and ambitious government schemes like Digital India, Smart Cities Mission, etc. The digital ecosystem in our country is expanding at lightning speed. As such, we are required to look into the positive and negative sides. Advantages I spoke already. Now, as the AI system continues to evolve and becomes more integrated in our daily activities, we must critically examine the potential privacy concern these systems pose. Now, what is privacy in legal terms now? Privacy traditionally refers to individual's right to control his personal information, when it is to be shared, with whom it is to be shared, or with what not to be shared. These are the personal privacy rights. Now, the privacy is a choice of an individual, but expected by all individuals to keep personal information confidential and free from unauthorized access. Privacy protects our free will. If all our personal information or data is available, the danger is it can be manipulated and cause disasters to the human being. And this is what we are afraid of artificial intelligence. Now, no definite legal definition of privacy is anywhere available. Yet, many legal experts tend to define privacy as a human right enjoyed by every human being by virtue of his or her being human. This can be extended to other aspects including bodily integrity, personal autonomy, informational self-determination, protection from surveillance, digital confidentiality, etc. This privacy right has a robust legal framework in the world. Internationally, Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948, Article 17 of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966, Article 16 of Convention of Rights of Children, Article 8 of European Convention on Human Rights, etc. Now, so far as Indian context is concerned, right to privacy was not directly envisaged by the constitution makers, and so you will not find it directly in Part 3 of the Constitution of India. However, the judiciary has deliberated upon this matter of privacy in number of cases under Article 21 of the Right to Life of the Constitution. Now, first earliest judgment we come across is 1962 MP Sharma versus Satish Chandra, where the court was required to consider the practice of search and seizure and power of police surveillance. And the Supreme Court ruled in favor of police action, saying that right to privacy is not a fundamental right under Article 19 or Article 21. Next, in the case of Kharak Singh versus State of Punjab, while examining again police actions, surveillance, it was observed that right to privacy is not a fundamental right, and as such, police surveillance did not interfere with the right of the person. Similar is 1975 Gobind versus State of MP, where it was held right to privacy of individual would have to give way to larger state interest, the nature of which must be convincing with the time and the domain. Again, in 1997, PUCL versus Union of India, which is commonly known as telephone tapping case, Supreme Court held that individuals had a privacy interest in the content of their telephone communication, but it is subject to, again, surveillance by the government. In the state of Maharashtra versus Bharat Shah, it was held, every citizen has a right to safeguard his privacy. However, in the case of matter being part of public records, including court records, the right of privacy cannot be claimed. Then came the landmark judgment of 2017, Puttaswamy versus State of Union of India. Now, while considering the validity of Aadhaar card, the Constitutional Bench unanimously ruled that privacy is a fundamental right and the right is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty as part of freedoms guaranteed under Article 21. But it also stated that the right to privacy is not absolute but subject to reasonable restrictions. Now, for today's topic, one of the points discussed by the Supreme Court is important. Technological change, I am quoting, technological change has given rise to concerns which were not present 7 decades ago, and the rapid growth of technology may render obsolete many notions of the present right. Hence, the interpretation of Constitution must be resilient to adapt its content bearing in mind its basic and essential features. So, in the absence of this right, the so-called right, fundamental right, all the while only we are dependent on Information Technology Act, and now the government has come out with the law called as Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 or DPDPA Act. Now, with this background, let us consider the privacy issue in the age of AI. As we know, AI system requires vast amount of data to function effectively. First of all, this data is not merely limited to basic identifiers like names and addresses, but extends to highly sensitive information such as personal preferences, your financial position, your health status, behavior, and even your emotional status. The speed and the scale and the accuracy 99% with which AI can process and analyze this data creates a new set of privacy privileges challenges that demand urgent attention. As I said, AI revolution at the heart is data. The AI systems are powered by large data collected and provides the information from various sources and it needs proper training. Now, this data often comes from individuals who knowingly or even unknowingly or unwittingly contribute through everyday activities such as browsing the internet, using social media platforms, or interacting with smart devices like your smartphone or smartwatch or even tablets. Or it can be illegally collected. This data can be illegally collected. In the modern economy, the personal data has become a valuable commodity. Business companies are willing to pay enormous sums for access to this data as it allows them to target their consumers with personalized advertisement, improving the services and increase profit. Whenever you click on Amazon, the entire data goes back to the company's various computer systems or servers, and this data can be collected within no time by a misuser or even regular good user. So the core modification of personal information raises fundamental concern about consent, transparency and control of your private information. In many cases, individuals are not fully aware of how their personal data is collected commercially or used by AI system, let alone the potential consequences. Today, the main concern are surveillance and privacy invasion. One of the most significant concerns regarding AI and privacy is the potential for individual or mass surveillance. Government and private entities increasingly deploy AI system to surveillance, to monitor and track individual movements, any activities and communications, including the geolocation from where you are using your smartphones or tablets or computer, etc. Now technologies like facial recognition, behavior analysis and biometric tracking enables the real time of surveillance of people even in public places now. Earlier it was within the confine, but now even if you are moving public place using your smartphone or phone, it can be used for surveillance also by the use of artificial intelligence. Thus, the ability to track individuals, their activities, personal information in real time, often without their knowledge or consent, undermines the fundamental right of privacy. It also opens the door to abuse of power by those in position of authority who may use AI tools to target anybody, especially marginalized people or suppressed people or engaged in discriminatory patterns also. Now second is algorithmic transparency and accountability. As AI system becomes more complex and autonomous, the question of accountability becomes increasingly important. One of the key challenges in addressing privacy concern in the AI era is the lack of transparency surrounding how the algorithm operates or how your data is collected or used. The lack of transparency poses a very significant risk for our privacy. If individuals cannot understand how AI system works and processes your data or makes decisions, it becomes difficult for you to assert control over your personal information. Now, moreover, without transparency, there is no clear way to challenge the incorrect or biased decisions taken by the AI system. If an AI system infringes upon your individual privacy or causes harm, the question would be, who is responsible? Accountability. Is it the developer who created the algorithm, or the companies which deployed it, or the authorities which regulate this system? This question is still large. Now, without accountability, it becomes difficult to ensure the individual privacy rights to be protected, and then AI system can use responsibly. Now, fourth is data breach and cyber security risks. Another pressing concern is the increased risk of data breaches and cyber security threats that come with the widespread use of AI system. As AI system requires vast amount of data, they are often connected to centralized database servers that stores your sensitive information also. As such, these databases can be targeted by cyber criminals. Now it is happening every day almost, who may risk to steal your personal information, personal data for malicious or fraudulent purposes, illegal purposes such as identity theft, fraud or even blackmail. In addition, this system itself, AI system itself, can be vulnerable to attack. If someone manipulates the data fed into AI system to cause them to make incorrect decision or prediction, it could result in misinterpretation of personal data, leading to privacy violations and other forms of harm to the individual. Fourthly, privacy in healthcare and biometric data. As I said earlier, this can be misused. AI impact on privacy, in particularly pronounced in healthcare sector, where personal and sensitive information is routinely collected, analyzed and shared. Now if you go to the doctor in our days, go to the doctor, he used to take out his big pad, write prescription, disease and all, what are your symptoms. Now it is not necessary. Directly the doctor types on his computer, it is stored in a data. Even next time after 6 months, if you visit the doctor, your data, your information, healthcare necessary, all are available. So healthcare data is very much important for the protection. This creates risk, as I said earlier, gave an example of American case. Now then, lastly, ethics of AI and privacy. As AI systems increasingly shape our world, the question of ethics becomes more paramount. The potential for AI to infringe upon privacy is not just a technical issue, but also a moral one. Ethical AI development must prioritize transparency, fairness, and respect for all human beings' dignity. Privacy should be seen as a fundamental right, and any AI system that handles personal data should be designed with this principle in mind. Now, AI system identification tracking, this is also another thing. AI can be used to identify and track individuals by mapping their daily routine, by accessing from different devices like smartphones, smartwatches, etc. And then it can be also misused. As this privacy risk, which may be posed by AI, becomes more evident, the role of regulations become more crucial. Now, governments around the world are grappling with how to address the privacy challenges associated with this AI system. But still, we have to go a long way. It is to be noted, regulations of AI and privacy is still in its infancy, and more needs to be done in this regard. Now, there are calls for global framework that can address the challenges of AI and privacy in a comprehensive manner. According to me, such regulations should prioritize privacy by design, meaning that privacy protection should be embedded in the design and development of this system. The laws that regulate AI and privacy must be flexible enough to adapt to rapidly evolving technologies while ensuring that individuals' privacy rights are not compromised. Now, our Indian laws has its own flaws. The new DPA Act is just newborn, 23 started, and a lot of legal research is required on its application, implication, and legal interpretation also. Now, as per my limited study of this Act, my concerns are this. Under this Act, the central government has discretionary power and is not accountable for whatever actions the state conducts. The state has unlimited authority under the Act. This gives access to substantial amount of public data that could be misused for security or political ends or whatever illegal purposes. That gives the government extra power when it exempts any instrumentalities of the state from its provision. Now, another concern of the application of this Act is to non-digital data. Both digital and non-digital data that is subsequently converted into digital form are covered under this DPDPA Act. But the question is, how a person is going to find out whether the data is fiduciary and has been digitalized or only hard copy is remaining. Nextly, this Act does not follow international norms, especially those concerning the anonymization of data and sensitive personal data. Lastly, the proposed Data Protection Board of India, constituted under the Act, is expected to be one of the most powerful and independent organizations charged with protecting nation's privacy. Unfortunately, I find all the jurisdiction over it rests with the central government alone, and it cannot be challenged. Now the latest rules also have been published for the Act, and just I was going through. The rules grant unchecked power to the government to demand personal data from data fiduciary without the consent on the undefined grounds such as national security. This will give the governments power to control data and with it the citizens who own such data. Second, in democratic countries, exemptions in rules are made for the journalists, for example, or media, for collection of data that is available in the public domain. But in the present Act, the journalists will not be able to identify and disclose the name of the people who are accusing of wrongdoing, because that be construed as violation of their fundamental rights. Now, in order to protect privacy in the era of AI, there are several key solutions in my view. Firstly, we need to foster greater transparency and accountability in this AI system. The developers should be required to disclose how their system works and what data they are collecting and using. This transparency will enable individuals to make informed decisions about their privacy and how their data is used, and if misused, what is the step to be taken. Secondly, we need to prioritize privacy by design. Privacy should not be an afterthought but an integral part of our AI development. Thirdly, and most importantly, there needs to be concerted effort to improve AI literacy among the general public. People need to understand the implications of AI and on their privacy, and they should be empowered to make decisions about how their data is to be used or protected. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges of privacy in the era of AI are vast and complex, but they are not insurmountable. By proactive and ethical approach to AI development, prioritizing transparency and enacting thoughtful regulations, we can ensure that the promise of AI does not come at the expense of our fundamental right of privacy. As we move forward into the increasingly AI-driven world, let us remember the technology is a tool, one that should serve humanity and not the other way around. It is up to all of us, individuals, developers, regulators, governments, and especially the legal fraternity, to shape our future in a way that safeguards privacy, promotes transparency, and upholds valuable values, ethical values, moral values we hold. With these few words, I conclude with my heartfelt thanks to the Commission for giving me opportunity to share few of thoughts. Thank you very much. God bless you.
May I now request our chief guest to make some remarks on the topic, sir, if you'd like to.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Justice Bannurmath, President Ms. Naik, and all my friends. It's a great privilege for me to share the dais with Justice Bannurmath, with whom I had a very long association when I was the Advocate General for a long time. He was the State Public Prosecutor and he was also the main government advocate on the civil side, and we had a very wonderful time. Though I was the AG, he was giving me enough advice for us to effectively function. Today, you have heard him, the depth of knowledge of the subject. He has started from the beginning. We are very grateful to him for all the wonderful, highly educative talk on a subject in which most of us are not very well acquainted. Now, law is developing to protect our privacy because of the advancement of artificial intelligence. Only yesterday, the Supreme Court disposed of a petition which required the government to formulate a detailed regulations or rules to protect the fundamental right of privacy, to restrict the rights of the platforms, developers and others. The Solicitor General of India gave a assurance that, as he already pointed out, they have framed rules which are now open for discussion and suggestion. I hope, as Justice Bannurmath pointed out, law requires to be amended. Even the two acts which are there, IT Act and Data Protection Act, he has pointed out the lacunas and the need for amendment. And with regard to the new rules to be framed also, I hope he will be able to give suitable suggestions for modification of the rules which are now proposed. With that, I would like to say that the government should take the opinion of the public from knowledgeable people and see that right of privacy is protected. Because, as he pointed out, every development, it has got advantages and also disadvantages. And so far as artificial intelligence is concerned, in my personal opinion, in relation to privacy, it has more disadvantages than advantages. It may be advantageous for the police in the matter of investigation, etc. But so far as our personal rights are concerned, it is more dangerous. It is leading to blackmail, extortion and all vices. Therefore, strict control of this is absolutely necessary. With these few words, I once again thank our Chief Speaker and thank you all for your presence.
Incidentally, recently there was a conference of lawyers dealing in artificial intelligence in Geneva, and one of our colleagues, Mr. Thiruvengadam, represented the organization BIMAC, of which I am vice chairman. And there is a now pledge has been prepared of the legal experts of 26 countries how to protect our rights, especially in legal systems.
May I please request that memento on behalf of the Commission to be kindly handed over to Justice Bannurmath.